Yeah, I've really changed my philosophy a lot with graduate school and with doing work in general, collaborations, all those kind of things. And I really very much. I used to be like try to go over and above. Try to please people, try to like do more than what I'd ever should be doing. But I have learned to hold back, and I've learned not to go as much as I'm inclined to do, because frankly, a lot of people just will not reciprocate. It's crazy. So if you don't know me, I am Professor Dave Masek. I'll tell you why I'm laughing in a minute. I created this whole Reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people that help me out that I wouldn't pay the favor for to help you out. So I believe in this idea of reciprocity so much. I actually created a whole entire website, platform, invested heavily in it over the years in terms of time, effort, money, everything. And to be honest, I've actually become a lot more of a realist. And a realist being I'm pessimistic about a lot of human action. And, I used to be a lot more like, hey, if you pitch in, everybody else will pitch in. But I have become very much jaded with that, and I've become very much like people are not going to. I got a story, I guess, and there was this in graduate school. We had this sort of exercise called doing Prisoner's Dilemma, and it's a game theoretical. It's kind of really simple game theory sort of principle that if everybody comes together, everybody is going to be much far better off. If one person in the group defects, then everybody is far worse off. If everybody defects, then everybody is just really, really poor, like they do poorly. So this sort of explains a lot of human action. It's a really kind of a really fun, interesting dynamic in terms of understanding. For example, the war that's happening in the Ukraine, right? We had this sort of truce within sort of Europe and Asia, where nobody really, if you didn't sort of go to, try to take over another nation, everybody is better off. They truly are better off. But as soon as one person defects, the whole system is not performing nearly as what it should be, and the person that defected is really, truly poor, or the group that defected is really, truly poorly off, and probably will be for many years to come. So, the idea of reciprocity is that you help other people out, and you don't really sort of indiscriminately help people out, right? The idea behind generalized reciprocity is you just help out anybody that comes your way, and you're just, a pleasant human being, which is great. That's an amazing outcome on life. I actually, very much am that person naturally. However, people don't typically reciprocate, and there's strong evidence of this now that I kind of like look into it, and I'm really well versed in this area. If you think of like Wikipedia, for example, the number of people that extract value from Wikipedia, and I do the exact same thing, right? Like for every one person that puts something out, probably 10,000, 15,000 people extract value from that one particular thing, right? If you look at the numbers, there's some statistics out there about it, and if you just kind of look at the ratio of that, of like number of contributors versus or contributions versus number of hits, and this is just general human behavior, right? This shouldn't be like a surprise to anybody. People are naturally self-interested, naturally focused on themselves. Oh, coming back to this idea, I'm sorry, I got a little sidetracked, to the prisoner's dilemma. So we had this really kind of fun exercise in the classroom was like, if everybody band together and didn't defect, then everybody would get, a grade, a bonus. But if the one person defected, then they would get a lot more of a bonus, but everybody else would be screwed over. Turned out that somebody actually did that, and it was surprising that this person did it, given what was going on. But it's actually, I look back and I've always been sort of shocked by that. Like, it was always like, man, how could they do that, right? Like, it was just like, not a cool move, not cool, right? But now, now that I've had a lot more experience with this, I realize that, people are really self-interested, and they might be not necessarily, they might be people that you wouldn't expect to be very self-interested, where they just look out for themselves. And so what the expectation is, and what I've kind of learned, is that you have to look out for yourself and not go above and beyond. I know that's like really bad to say, right? Not go above and beyond, because nobody else is going to do that. And so you do what is called the tit for tat strategy. This is Robert. I think it's Robert or Rod Axelrod or something. I forget. I think that's his name. And he sort of looked at this and what was the best strategy, and it's really a tit for tat strategy, where somebody does something nice to you, you do an equal amount of niceness back, and you constantly go back and forth. I really more that I've done this, the more I've realized it's actually probably along the truth of what you should be doing. It should be very measured and not go over and above. You really have to wait until other people go over and above before you reciprocate. And frankly, a lot of people are not going to. And you just have to be okay with that. You can go over and above, and I have a tendency to do this repeatedly. And that just means I'm, overly optimistic about the world, right? Like, in terms of what they're going to do, and people are not going to reciprocate. And you just have to be okay with that. And get used to that feeling of like, there goes again, right? And you just kind of go through life just being okay with that. So, here's a lesson with this. Not everybody is going to reciprocate, right? Most people are not going to. The vast majority, almost the majority, is never going to reciprocate, and you have to be okay with that, right? So realize that, hey, everybody is going to be mutually better off if you do, and you sort of do, strong commitments and things like that. But people don't. They just don't, right? Like, hard stop. They will not. And even though everybody's going to be better off, it's going to be a much more fun experience, all that kind of stuff. That's why group work doesn't work in general, right? We've all been there, done that. But what we can expect is people are not going to do it, right? So what can you do, right? You, first of all, kind of are measured in what you're doing. But at the end of the day, you also have to think about, what are the values that you have? Are you doing this for performance? Are you doing this for your own benefit or everybody's benefit? If that's the case, then, by all means, be really measured and be really crusty. But if you're doing it to be a good person, you're doing it because you know that this is just the right thing to do, is to go over and above and to be, conscientious, all that kind of stuff, then that is a different game. Right? Then you should not care about what happens. Now, you're going to care. You're going to get this sort of repeated burnt, feeling in your mouth, right? But you got to take a step back and say, hey, why am I doing this? What is this all about? What is the bigger picture in life? If I'm going to sit here and just wait until, things happen, it's never going to happen. I'm here to do good things, and I hate to sort of pull out, religion and all that kind of stuff, but you almost have to do that, right? Where you have to think about the golden rule, And I remember reading some really interesting, it was part of the same class, actually. It was really interesting. Where you do unto others as you'd expect others to do unto you, and you really have to focus on that. It's really a virtuous game. Because ultimately, we're not here a long time. We're really not. And I think that's where religion gets things right, is a sort of recognition of that. We're not here for a long time. And so why do you do things? It's not because you're trying to get ahead and all those kind of things. You're doing it because you're a good person. And that's ultimately why you're doing it in the end. It's not for anything else. And so you have to keep reminding yourself you're going to get burnt. And you're going to have bad experiences repeatedly over and over and over again. However, take a step back and think about, why am I doing this? What is this all about? And once you come to that realization that it's not about the performance, and in academia it's not about the publications, all those kind of things. It's about the fact that you're doing this because you're a good person. And that's ultimately the end goal that you should focus on. All right. So with that, you leave me some comments. Do appreciate it. Take care and have a wonderful day.